Hey guys, Moss Sajady here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Moss on Sundays, where we explain life, literally explain life, give you the first principle definition on what life is about. Some of you going, well, what the hell is a first principle definition? Well, if you've ever found, your belief systems, your ideas, your logic to have exceptions to the rule, that's not the first principle. Okay. It tells you that, well, there's exceptions to the rule. Whenever there's exceptions to the rule, in fact, there's a saying in science that says, hey, you know what? Um, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. Well, even science, even religions, even politics, again, if there's exceptions to the rule, that means that you're not at your highest level. And we need to keep searching. We need to keep foraging for the real truth. And that's what the show is about. Moss on Sunday, again, Life Explained. It gives you the top level reason on why your life is the way it is, or why the situation in this reality is the way it is, and then offer you real solutions on how to change. Okay. So, welcome. Again, and if you like these, if you like real change and if you like the truth, please subscribe and like, share it with your friends so we can get more and more. Because the more people we get on, say, the same zone of living the truth, living your highest possible self, um, then, well, that's how the world changes. It's like a wave effect. Okay, the more you change, the more your reality changes. All right. Alrighty. So here we go. This is on appreciation. We'll just jump right into it, and then afterwards, I will analyze or scan people online just to show you how, say, effective what I do is, and how succinct the practice is. Again, it's just science, science and perfection, literally, and that's what exponential intelligence is. Okay, exponential intelligence is just literally the body of knowledge, body of science of everything. So, and I know that's a big statement, but it does explain quite a lot of things, including gravity, a lot of principles that there's a lot of theories on, but again, not really any hard facts or evidence. So, all right. So, what does that have to do with appreciation? Well, or theories of gravity and so on like that, because it's the same science, and that's what I'd just like to do. Talk about this a little bit since it's on my mind, and then we'll get to the appreciation. Many people think, like say for example, your life. Okay, we'll make it something simple, and then we'll extrapolate that into what I'm talking about. Your life. You have your personal life. You have your, you have your outside life, your relationships. You have your, religious aspect of you. You're a parent. You're a spouse. You're a CEO. You're whatever. You're a woman. You're a man. Right? All those little things of you are, say, separate identities, separate, say, sciences that you have or you are, or there's a science to, say, being a good mother. There's a science to being a good CEO. There's a science to be being successful, but it's wrong. And I'll just tell you flat out, it's just absolutely wrong. Okay, the only reason why your life isn't the way it is because you don't understand the real science underneath it all. The real science is that it's you. You're one human having those types of experiences. So all those types of experiences should run under one science, under one roof. And again, it's called the human platform, the human identity. Okay, most people don't do it that way, right? If you're a CEO, then you got to run under these principles. If you're the father, if you're a father or a mother, you're a CEO, but then you're also a parent. Okay, you got to run under these principles. No, no, it's all wrong. You're a human. You have an extension of being a CEO or a business owner or an employee or whatever it is, or homeless or whatever. And then you have an extension of being a parent in this scenario. It's not two or three separate beings, entities, sciences, formats. Okay. Nature doesn't work that way. Nature, no matter what the hell you are, no matter what age group you are, no matter how much you weigh or whatever, it works proportional to, say gravity, right? It works proportional to everybody. It's all the same to everybody, depending on, say, where and how you are. Does that make sense? It's one principle for everything, everyone. There's no prejudice. That's the way you should run as well. Again, and that's the XI science that I talk about, right? So we or XI develops the best possible you or the limitless human that is in you. There's no exceptions to the rule, by the way. There is no exceptions to the rule because it's top level science. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully, and again, this if we became again human, right? It's all about coming into human and then extending out being that CEO. You're going to be the top level CEO that there is, that won't get burned out, that won't get fucked up, that doesn't have to control, that doesn't have to destroy. Uh, environments or anything like that to be profitable. If you're a parent, you don't have to say sacrifice yourself. You don't have to destroy yourself. You don't have to kill your kids. You don't have to, again, destroy children. I see so many kids so fucked up. Again, young kids messed up by their parents because their parents don't know who they are. So they put the burden on their kids, just like a lot of people do. Just like a lot of people, they put their burdens on their pets. That's why they want pets. Now they've got even a special plaque or a card. You can take what are they called? Uh, emotional whatever support animals nowadays. What the hell is that? Emotional support. Uh, you know, go to XI, do some 18 days, and fix yourself. Yeah, support them, emotional support animals. That's crazy. You know what that is? Okay, and again, I'm not knocking you down for for having that, but again, the real underlying reason is that you filled your stuff up with all your bullshit, and then it's like it's overflowing because you didn't know how to handle it or how to get rid of it. And again, I'm not cutting you down. I'm just giving you a slap in the face so you can wake up. Okay. So if you're new to this, again, if you're new to this, it might seem a little rough, but maybe you need that slap in the face just to wake your ass up and go, damn, it's me. I need to take responsibility. Okay. So again, emotional support, whether it's a child or an animal. Okay. And this does get into the subject appreciation, by the way. What happens is that, you know what, I can't handle my life, so I need, I've got too much garbage in me, and I don't know what to do with it. So I'll get an emotional support animal, or I'll get a pet, or I'll have kids, and then I'll dump all their. I'll dump all my stuff that I don't know what to do with on my kids or my spouse or the world. If it comes to political leaders and so on, and then that animal, and I see these emotional support animals, and they're just so sickly. And I can read the animal and I go, oh shit, that animal has like emphysema type symptoms or whatever. It's like because the person that is supporting has lung issues and so on like that. Animals don't get emphysema and lung issues and all that stuff, guys. It's you. It's literally you. And again, whether you have an emotional support or anything else, it's you. Hey, look in the mirror. It's you. It's nothing outside of you. It's you. And it's a hard thing to swallow. But those people who are doing total human reset, they're starting to go inwards because that's where you find bliss. And you start to see all the garbage. You remove all that garbage, and then the brilliance of you comes in. That's what we're doing on total human reset, or the 18 days, or anything else that we do. But coming back to the emotional support, again, what you're doing is you're creating more and more and more and more and more garbage. You're going to need two emotional support animals, right? And then another one, and then another one. That's why a lot of people have kids. It's sad. It's really sad. Anyway, what does that have to do with our title, appreciation? It's got to do a lot, because what happens is that on appreciation at different levels, it means different definitions. Okay, different levels of consciousness, it means different levels. So this is what I say, the first principle definition of, say, appreciation, or gratitude or love or whatever. At this base reality, okay, it's all about dimensions, and it's not about psychology. It's literally all about dimensions of space and time, and the realities that you exist in, and the consciousness that you operate out of. Okay. And if that sounds foreign to you, it's totally fine. Just allow it to absorb into yourself, because this isn't psychology. I'm not trying to improve your life. I'm trying to change the channel for you so you switch, say, right away. All right. Take a breath in, and we'll make it an experiential experience for you. Again, strong breath in. Some of you might be feeling the frequencies already. And then another breath in, and we'll talk about, say, appreciation. So, again, dimensionally, at this reality of space and time, this is the only, we'll call it level zero or ground zero. Okay. This dimension in time allows you to, again, create density and experience time frames, dimensions, different possibilities of yourself, one at a time. Okay. Simple as that. As you go higher and higher up in frequencies or, again, realities, not dimensions, realities, you go higher and higher into realities, time and space are different. You get high enough, you get into your spirit realm. Okay, it transitions from space time, again, physical time. You get into your spirit realm, or I would call it your limitless self. Okay, this is where you want to be. This is where you want to understand that you come from. Okay, and again, this isn't mumbo jumbo or this woo woo or anything like that. This is actual science. That's how you really work. And again, I can prove it over and over to you, whether you're atheist or that scientist that doesn't believe, there's thousands, tens of thousands of people that have already changed, right? A lot better than clinical, say, evidence and anything like, but real life transformations. So at the higher levels of consciousness, uh, definitions of words are very, very different. Okay. So that's what we want to do. So when I say the first principle, what I'm talking about, higher and higher versions of yourself. Okay, just to put it simply. Okay, at a higher version, you would be very, very different than where you are here. So take a breath in, just to help you understand a bit more. For example, you know, and I'll give you a physical experience. Okay, and then we'll get into again the definition of appreciation. For example, you're poor, you don't have any money. Okay, um, in that example, and your child is sick. Okay, your child is sick. Your child needs medication. Would it be wrong for you to break in to save your child's life and get that medication? It could be a a $20 medication, but it again it could change your son, change your child's life. Again, it could make them live, right? So in that scenario, would stealing or breaking in be bad for you, right? I wouldn't see any problem with that, not at all. But in this reality, in this physical form, stealing is bad. Does that make sense to you? Now, at the higher levels, there's a huge difference. At the higher levels, your child would never be in a situation that would be ill or dying in that scenario, and you would have lack. There would be no lack. So that's the key. Which version or which consciousness do you wish to live in? Okay? You can't fix any of your stuff here. That's the problem. You can't fix any of this stuff here because in this reality, you're supposed to have all these problems because all possibilities exist in this reality. The higher you go, the possibilities of you being messed up, distorted, and all the things that you experience at this lower level don't exist. So what do? Well, you elevate yourself to this consciousness at a higher level consciousness, okay? Say level 10, 12. And again, I'm just throwing numbers out just for clarity. You elevate yourself. You don't live, you don't live, your consciousness does not exist in this lower level. Your body does, okay? Your physical form does, because this is the only reality, level zero, that it can represent. It's the stage of your life, okay? It's the stage of time and space. However, you can define yourself at a higher level of self. Here, level 10, okay? Again, numbers don't mean anything. At this level, you project yourself into physical form. bypassing all the bullshit that exists here. You are of a higher order, a grander order. If you've ever seen individuals who have, say, dignity, they're holy, they're complete, what are they doing? They're in physical form, and you touch them, and there's a sense of vibrance and so on, right? They emanate this godliness, so to speak. They're not gods, they're just defining themselves here, projecting themselves at the lower level. When you're doing that, you start to get into first principle definitions. Now, this is really powerful. Some of you might go, "Oh, that's beautiful. That's a great thought. I feel good." No, it changes. This is science. It literally changes your infrastructure. It changes you right down to the genetic makeup of who you are. So, as you take a deep breath in, what that means is that if you are a scientist, elevated at a higher level consciousness, if you're a politician, if you're a world leader, if you're a religious leader, a political leader, a business leader, a parent, above at this high level, again, rendering yourself, reflecting yourself here, would the world be the way it is? Most likely not. 100%, 1,000% guaranteed that it would be not. Would you need helper animals? No. Would you need implants in your brain to help you heal yourself? No. You could heal yourself at the higher levels. That's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of proof here, guys. Scientists like Albert Einstein, Tesla, they all started to come into this realm. Okay? Jesus came into this realm, but they couldn't represent themselves here at a mass level. Okay? This is the time of consciousness, by the way, that we're supposed to represent ourselves from a higher consciousness. And this is why I'm offering you first principle definitions of all these definitions that we have. Again, love, uh, gratitude, honor, and all those things that have gotten destroyed here. Again, I'm giving you the first principle definition on why we have hate. Okay, most people go, "Well, you're supposed to run away from hate and go towards love." No, hate is very specific for you. If you operate it at the first principle level of where you exist, hate is actually a benefit for you. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about appreciation, so we're going to be jumping into that. We'll cover these three things: why we're wired to feel emotion, by learning the first principle definition of appreciation, how appreciation can keep you stuck in the past, and how exponential intelligence, again, science of everything, uses appreciation to empower you, basically, again, helping you rewire into the original form of what appreciation is, not what appreciation has become. So I'll give you the world sense of what appreciation is, and then we'll migrate into a higher definition. And it's not just food for mind, food for thought. It's about food that nourishes your genetic makeup, literally will help you change your identity of who you are. So the knowledge exists within you. You become the knowledge. You transform into the knowledge. Okay. It's not just something here. It sounds great. And then what do I do with it? All right. That kind of knowledge doesn't do you any good. It makes you good at parties, makes you sound intelligent, but again, it doesn't change your life. You want knowledge that is so transformational that it makes an impact on you. How does that happen? Because it's true. Truth always makes an impact on you, even if you don't believe it. So take a breath in. Notice your chest. So appreciation, the way it's normally used, okay, in today's standards, is that a lot of times, a lot of people, most people appreciate things that they had in the past. Okay. So when you start to appreciate things you've had in the past, it's an anchor in dimension or in time or in realities. It puts you in a time frame of the past. And again, Albert Einstein talks about moments in time. If it wasn't for time and space, all things would happen. Okay, it's very key, very very key to understand that aspects of you or life changes of you happen in dimensions of time and space, not psychology, not self improvement, unless they're based on dimensions of time and space. Okay. So when people appreciate things, there's different ways of appreciating, which is really fantastic. But what happens is time is running along. Okay, you're on the train of time, and you can close your eyes for this scenario. Again, take a breath in, notice who you are, notice where you are, and notice how many times you've appreciated things that, oh, I wish things would go back to the way they were. What does that tell you? Okay. Obviously, that tells you that your present moment, your future moments suck, or they're going to suck. You need to go back to the way things were. How many people have said that? How many times have you heard that from your parents or the older generation, right? I wish. How many times did you say that to yourself? I wish I could go back. Again, you appreciate your old self because your new self is a lot worse off. Does that make sense to you? Again, appreciation in XI definition is about time. Appreciation in the XI definition is about jumping forward in time, leapfrogging forward in time. Literally leapfrogging. It allows you to bounce into, say, present moment time and go deep into the present moment time where the limitless self exists. Right? It transcends everything. It transcends your knowledge. It transcends your belief systems. You start to appreciate the brilliance of who you are. That's the XI definition. It literally forces you or it leaps you into a higher version of yourself. Okay. And let me explain this. Take a breath in. It might get a little sciencey, and I wish I had um, a screen. Could I share my screen? No, I don't have a whiteboard. Anyway, I'll get a whiteboard. So take a breath in. Just notice where you are. Let's see. So every, just imagine every second, but again, it's more than every second. Okay, every millisecond, you're rendering a new version of yourself. Okay, so imagine just a version, another version, another version, another version, another version, another version, another version. Okay, and you're always creating another version of yourself to create yourself in the moment. Okay, you're not pulling your old version into the moment. You're rendering or copying again a duplicate right into the next moment, into the next moment. So if you had a photographs of you, say hundreds or thousands of photographs, okay, just like for example, here we go, video. Okay, video is not say fluid motion. If you look at video, it's a compilation of still frames, in order that s- show motion, show movement for you. You render yourself in the same exact way. Does that make sense to you guys? Again, comment in. Okay. So take a breath in again. So what happens is that every moment, every moment that you're rendering yourself, okay, that you are rendering, it's not your choice, by the way. You automatically do this. Okay. Every moment, it's a possibility for you to appreciate the next moment. Every moment is a possibility of to create a new version of you. Every moment is for you to appreciate, say, shedding off your old skin and again creating a new version of yourself. Every moment for you is new possibilities that you could get into. Right? That moment could be every hour, it could be every minute, it could be every second, it could be every millisecond. Right? To your time frame, again, to your genetic makeup, it's more minute, say, moments of time than say a millisecond, by the way. Okay? And I've seen this. Realities are like thinner than they're thinner than say thickness of your hair. Consciousness or realities or dimensions in time and space. I can see them. They're literally next to each other, and they're thinner than your hair. Okay. If you can change into that consciousness, or again, that dimension of self, you'll be a better version even as you age. And that's what XI uses to transform people backwards into who they really are. This is where they transform into the possibilities of becoming youthful again, having a second chance on life. So take a breath in. So appreciation in its normal sense. Okay, you're going in time. Boom, 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 boom. Right? You're rendering yourself. You're creating yourself. Normal. The masses use appreciation to go, oh, you know what? I wish I was 20 years old again, which is totally fine because there's a lot of things you could do, you know, which is great. But when you go back and you go, yeah, I wish I was 20 years old because my current version sucks or I'm ill or all that stuff, what you do is you're not going forward in time again. What you do is you're not going backwards in time. You're and again, I wish I had a whiteboard. Sorry. This moment in time, you're 40 here, you're 20 here. Okay. What you do is you create this moment of time, 20, in front of your 40-year-old self. There's a lot of problems with that. First, you're not that adept to transform. XI does it differently, by the way. Okay. So XI does it very, very differently, and I'll explain that. Okay. But when you put this stuff here, what happens is it magnifies. So from 20, you're 40, it magnifies all the things that have gone on after you're 20 to 40. Okay. And then what you do, you put your 20-year-old because you wish you were younger, right? You want to relive the golden days and so on, like that, the golden oldies. You put your 20-year-old here. Well, your magnified self, your already magnified self, again, you had a problem that was a degree off. This is a great example. You had a problem that was a degree off when you were 20. Okay. So a degree off, not that bad. But over 20 years, you're fucking way off. Does that make sense? If you're off, in the beginning, it's easier to fix. But now you're way off. You're way off. Again, if you're just off in carpenters or, architects or people know that, right? If you're just a tiny bit off, 1 degree off, a mile down, you're way off your path. Okay. So what happens? You're way off your path by the time you get 40. And now what you do is you put your 20-year-old back here. All the problems that you had in your 20-year is way off. And then everything that you had magnifies even more. Does that make sense? So you become way off and it distorts you in time. It messes you up even more. I'll show you how XI does it. Take a breath in again. So imagine yourself, go back to your times where you wish you would have fixed a problem, no matter how old you were. Again, where you wish you would have fixed a problem. I like this by Ali. It's like a golf swing. Yep, a tiny bit off becomes a large degree off once it goes far down the green. Beautiful way. Beautiful, Ali. I love it. So you take a breath in and notice your spine. Imagine what you could have fixed if you knew. Again, I'm not blaming you. Don't blame yourself. Again, don't destroy yourself because how could I not think of that when I was younger? And if you are going to do that, use it to kick yourself forward and appreciate the awakening that you are. Okay, that's where you use appreciation even better. Okay, so again, take a breath in. Notice anything that could have been changed easier that didn't work out, that you didn't change, and then notice where it is now. Okay. Do you see how a tiny, say, weed has turned into a huge tree that you don't like, right? It's pretty easy to pull off a small weed, right? Nip it in the bud, as they say. Breath in again. Many people use appreciation to go, oh, you know what? I appreciate you. And I'm still working on helping you resolve what's happened here. And again, I'll explain how XI does it for you. Okay. But I just want to get through some of these examples. Many people go, I really appreciate you. Thank you. Well, that turns into, say, a burden on that person that you just appreciated. Okay. You're just throwing your thankfulness on them, which is okay. And again, this is why I don't like gratitude. But what happens to that person that you just appreciated, I appreciate for what you've done. It creates a burden around their neck that says, oh, okay, I got to keep doing this. But then what they do is what you do to them or for them is like, oh, I got to be the version that I was here because that's what this version they appreciated. In the future, they might not appreciate my new version. Does that make sense to you? Right? So when you're appreciating your kids, and I'll show you how to do it right. And again, I'm not saying it's all wrong, but I'm just giving you, say, where appreciation can mess or foul things up for you, your kids, or your loved ones, your employees, and so on like that. Appreciation Day, right? So take a breath in. Now there's let's see. So there's that. Can you guys think of any ways, other ways of using appreciation that kind of turns stale for people? Now there's individuals, and if I think of, I'll think of, and if you think of anything, what about being appreciated? Yes. So you're appreciated. That's what I'm saying. You're appreciated, but most people appreciate you in that moment of time where you were good. And then you're supposed to keep yourself in that moment of time. You can't move. It's like a photographer. You're moving around and it's like stop, and you're like this. And it's like perfect. Don't move until I get shots of you. So when you appreciate or become appreciated, this is what happens. It's like don't move. This is where you look perfect. Anywhere else, the lighting is off or whatever it is, but don't move. This is where I like you. Okay? So again, appreciate you always. Again, it's the same thing. So what we need to appreciate our parents for sacrificing so much for us. That's probably the worst thing ever. Again, they should never sacrifice for you. Okay. Two, yes, you can appreciate, but again, I'll show you how to appreciate properly. Whenever somebody sacrifices yourself, and I think I did a talk about sacrifice, so you might want to go listen to that. You never ever want to sacrifice yourself for anybody else. You want to grow and expand yourself. Okay. Yes, you sacrificed your whatever. You did sacrifice at a physical level. Yes, that's what you should appreciate. But when they go, I sacrificed everything for you, or you go, I sacrifice. We should be appreciative because they sacrificed. It basically puts you into the same space, and then you start sacrificing yourself. So what you learn is sacrifice. And again, whoever wrote that, you're sacrificing yourself. You're still sacrificing yourself. You might be with XI, but again, there's a pattern of sacrifice. You don't have to sacrifice to be a better version of yourself. Okay. So take a breath in. Many individuals do appreciation properly. What they do is like, hey, you know what? I appreciate you. And then those individuals who do it properly, the successful people, what they do is like, yeah, what did they appreciate me in this moment of time? What did I do right? And then it's like, I'm going to do appreciation. What did I do right? They make a list, consciously or, you know, write down, make a list. What did I do right? What could I have done better? And that propels you to the next version, right? Because that's what time is about. Again, appreciation is a time moment. It's a leap in time forward into, say, your multidimensional self. Okay. So, and I'll explain that in just a second. So doing appreciation properly, that's the way you do it. Okay. So whenever you appreciate somebody, okay, just to get you off the old patterns or your parents' patterns or society's pattern of appreciation. Appreciate. It's like, gosh, you know what? I appreciate you. and I appreciate what you've done. I wonder how much greater things that you can do in the future. Just add that extra sentence on. Make sense? It makes them think that, wow, I was great. I did perfect in this instance. What did I learn from it? And then you're coaching them, especially kids, right? Especially if they're fearful, right? Hey, I appreciate you for, being a good kid in that meeting, or, having perfect manners, with so and so during dinner. I appreciate you. How much more, could you be grander? I appreciate that you got, this great test score. You know, how can you make it easier for yourself next time to get a great test score? Does that make sense to you all? How that works? You appreciate them for where they are, and then you appreciate and you set, especially young kids, you instill in their minds what they're going to do in the future that's even better than where they are today. That's the key of appreciation. So you don't lock them in time, or you don't go back in time. Okay? Like, what you want to do is, I appreciate my parents for what they did and what they went through. Okay? You can use sacrifice again, but try to use sacrifice at the higher definition. Sacrifice for your parents again is something different, and I shouldn't get into this, but it kind of blends in with appreciation. I appreciate what our parents, what our forefathers did for us, because that's why we're here today, right? I learn. So basically, what you're doing is, when you're sacrificing, or you're appreciating their sacrifice, basically you're blending it in, and then you go, well, that means that I should sacrifice. So what you want to do, again, in that scenario of something that you appreciate in the past, okay, it's like, yes, I appreciate, and they even sacrificed their lives for it. Okay, they expanded, but take a breath in. What you want to do is like, gosh, they went this far. They went this far, right? They sacrificed what they sacrificed, even their lives. They went this far. Okay. So you appreciate how far they went to give you life. But when you appreciate for sacrifice, you basically, they went this far for you. Okay. So you're not doing them a blessing, by the way. You're not carrying their honor. You're basically going, I appreciate for their sacrifice. You go back to their sacrifice when their sacrifice started, and then you run your own pattern of sacrifice. Does that make sense? Just like when you're 20 years old and then now you're 40, that example, you're basically going, you're not, it's not your lifeline, it's their lifeline. I appreciate what they did and sacrificed. We should be appreciative. Yes, we should be. And I'll tell you how to do it, right? Because this is how the world cycles itself. This is why wars keep continuing. This is why masks are happening again and over and over and over again. It is the same thing, right? Something that could have been fixed back here, right? And again, it did give us life and so on like that. We go, gosh, I appreciate. And again, from what happened hundreds or thousands of years ago back here is way off by the time it gets to us. And then what we do is we pull that, bring it in front of us, and then we magnify the distortion that could have fixed back there. And then it magnifies, because now it's a double magnification. And again, you go way off, just like Ali said. And just a little bit off on your golf swing is way off down the road. Okay, now imagine that golf swing, you're way off. Okay, you're a little off by the time it hits the green. Before it hits the green, okay, it's off. And then you magnify that, say, distortion a lot more. It's going to be way off by the time, again, time ends. That makes sense? So in this scenario, take a breath in. In this scenario, what you want to do is like, your parents went from here to here. Okay, they sacrificed. And again, I'm not cutting them down. They sacrificed, they gave their lives, they gave up whatever that they needed to do to bring us to forth. What I'm saying is, yes, I appreciate what all they did. And then you appreciate from here forward. Does that make sense? You appreciate where they brought you. It's like, what else can I do to enhance and then correct as well. So you look back on, I appreciate what they did. What did they do wrong? What they could have done better. And again, I'm not saying they did it wrong. They did with what they did. Okay, or maybe they did do it wrong. I don't know. But again, what could they have done better? So rather than carrying on their tendencies, their patterns, what did they do that could be better? And then you move forward with yourself. Now, if you would have done that as a child, just imagine you would not turn into your parents. You would not have your parents' issues. You would not have your parents' illnesses. You would not have society's illnesses, distortions, and abuse patterns, and so on, that keeps just cycling over and over and over again. Okay? So, all right. So that's how you do appreciation right. Take a breath in. For the advanced XIers, okay, what you want to do, someone says appreciation is so destructive. Again, it's the definition of appreciation that's destructive, just like anything else. Okay, you redefine it, and it'll propel you forward. So let me show you. Thank you for that segue. Let me show you. Let me show you how appreciation is done right. Okay, so for the advanced XRs, take a breath in. Appreciation. What happens is that when you're appreciating the next moment, okay, it's like I love this moment where I am, okay? Or maybe you don't love this moment, but you know you'll appreciate the next moment, especially if you're going through detox, right? In XI, especially if you're doing total human reset, right? You're going through a lot of changes. Appreciate the next moment. Just note that the next moment is going to be a better version of yourself if you choose it. So you ask yourself, it's like, gosh, you know what? This moment I might not like. I'm not going to appreciate it. Again, don't lie to yourself, right? If you're not liking it, you're not liking it. But what are you going to appreciate in the future for yourself? Okay. So that's where you are if you're, say, not the best situation in life. Take a breath in. The next step is hey, you're in a good moment. You're in a good flow, right? You appreciate the moment that you're in, and you settle into, say, where time becomes still. It's almost like you stop time. And then that's where time becomes expansive. And it's not like you're stopping time, you're in the moment so strongly that time carries you forward. Okay? This is where XI appreciation comes in. This is where a Buddha state would come in, by the way. This is where Buddha can sit underneath a tree for days and go, whoa, that's amazing. He's appreciating the consciousness. Because when you can get into those higher levels of appreciation, what happens is that, again, it allows you to stop time. When time stops, your grandness expands in the moment that you're in the physical realm that you're in. Okay? That's what appreciation is really for. So take a breath in. So let me say that again for you, because it's a deep concept. When you appreciate for real, higher levels of definition, it literally allows you to stop time or be in the moment so real that you don't have to consciously think about the next moment. Everything is still, everything is complete, you're in a bliss state. Okay? When you're in that bliss state, again, most of you, most of your concepts of you stop as well. Say that you're walking, you're concentrating on walking or running, whatever. And then somebody puts you in a vehicle, okay, like the train of time. You don't have to think about walking. You're going to enjoy the scenery. Does that make sense? Same thing here. When you appreciate properly, your higher self takes you into the moment of time, carries you forward in time. And then as it does, it allows you to leapfrog into higher dimensions of yourself. So it allows you to be a much better version, not the next version, but 5 versions later, 10 versions later, 20 versions later, now. So you can bypass. And this is where you grow in leaps and bounds. That's where appreciation, or that's what the first definition of appreciation is about. Imagine if you did that to your kids, right? First of all, they won't have ADD, ADHD, and all that stuff. They're not appreciating time. They want to get away from time. So again, I could go on and on, but again, that's part of the lecture series that we do to go into the deeper states or the 18-day hyper meditations that we do or anything else that we do. So, all right. A lot of good things coming up. By the way, Monday, um, Total Human Reset, again, already started. You can still just join. It's the first 6 days. Again, you can still join if you're new. I would suggest you can redo the replays. It'll be as powerful. XI lecture series coming up tomorrow. It's free for the people for Total Human Reset. Again, that value in itself is priceless. Okay, and it's a hierarchy of self-actualization. That's tomorrow again, tomorrow night. It's basically Maslow's hierarchy, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but then an XI version, so it actually works better for you, okay? Because Maslow's hierarchy of needs is true, but again, there's a better version that can benefit you and society. So I'll be talking about that. I'll be talking about the science of XI's hierarchy of self-actualization. Okay, and then talking about again Maslow's and not where he went wrong, or maybe he did, but again how why it doesn't work in today's society and why it actually distorts you. And then practicing compassion is on October 19th. Right, real compassion. Again, first principle definition of compassion. Not compassion is like shit. Now I gotta give all my stuff away, let go of all my stuff, let go of all my needs and so on like that to have compassion for others. Not that kind of bullshit compassion, but real compassion. All right. Where it benefits you and then it benefits the person that you're compassionate about. So we'll talk about that on October 19th for you. And then also, I think we have a frequency spot coming up too on Tuesday. When is that? It's this week sometime. Yeah, no worries. All right. So while uh, Demi's looking up that, uh, let's get into. Okay. So okay, so it's October 11th, Frequency Spa. This is where we help you get youthful, regain yourself, regain the beauty, not from outside aspects, but from the inside, the beauty you are on the inside. Those individuals who go to spa treatments and so on like that want to stay younger. They put on whatever the latest cosmology or whatever to stay younger. You want to stay younger on the inside by changing your genetic patterns, right? And then you stay more beautiful on the outside and you don't have to age like your parents. So that's what the frequency spa is about. So again, that's on Tuesday the 11th. All right, take a breath in, guys. We'll jump into scanning people. And I have to read this disclaimer here. This is Sajady with Xponential Intelligence. Sunday, what is this? Yeah, Sunday, October 9th. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. I can scan your frequency signature and tell you exactly what I see. So please consult your doctor or professional advisor if I tell you anything. All right. I'm just telling you what I see. I could be way off. I could be just a crazy man. If you ask to be scanned today, you are agreeing that we may use your session on any public media to help inspire others. So remember, if you don't want us to share the session, don't ask to be scanned. And then there's private sessions for that. Okay, if you want to know exactly what's going on with you. 3, all contents are protected by copyright. You may not use our content in any way, shape, or form for any purpose without my written permission. And then only please ask to be scanned only once. All right. All right. There's a lot of copycats coming out, by the way. So again, the real XI always go to us. There's a lot of people trying to do XI, but again, they might not be the best, and we're not sponsoring any of them other than Emmy and Zach. Oh, awesome. Oh, okay. Got it. All right. Yeah. So if you go to the Telegram, my Telegram channel, again, it's XI with Masajati. Again, take Telegram. It's kind of like if you don't know what Telegram is, well, it's kind of like Instagram and so on, but you're freer to say whatever you need to say. So again, XI with Masajati. Go to Telegram. There's a QR code for those events that we talked about. So let's jump into say seeing where you all are. If you're new, you can say hey, I'm new. Please scan me. And if you're not new, don't say you're new. All right. This one, Mary H. Please scan me. And this is how um, this is how my abilities work. By the way, it's not just my abilities. I teach people how to do this. Okay. I don't need anything else. You can even use your fake name. I can see through all that stuff. Mary H, please scan me, please. If I scan you, please comment back in on the accuracy of the scan. Not for my purpose, I know I'm accurate, but for you to allow you to understand that, gosh, there is something that there is something. What is he tapping into, right? That allows you to expand into yourself. So, Mary H, what happens? I don't know if you have head issues or you're always in your head or you're always getting, say, pushed into something that you don't want. So you're always fighting against something, and it's always a masculine. It's a masculine frequency that's not wanting you to be who you are. That makes sense. So you're getting pushed over. Um, so it could be, say, maybe back in the day. Oh, that's what it is. Back in the day, your father, you wanted to go a certain direction, and your father was always there saying no, 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 no matter what it was. So you couldn't go into that direction. So you've just basically copied that pattern. You've copied that pattern into your physical form. So anything masculine, so to speak, it just basically blocks you. So imagine your relationships get blocked. Anything, say, success gets blocked, and so on like that. Not that success is a masculine pattern. Not that being confident is a masculine pattern. But unfortunately, it's ill-defined, right? So success is become a masculine pattern. Okay, you have to. It's a man's world. Business is a man's world. That's bullshit. It's ill-defined. So we need to redefine success for you. So that's what's happening for you, Mary. So, but the cool thing about it is that you're starting to wake through whatever that you've done with XI, starting to see like, one thing getting blocked for me. Okay, especially if you want success, especially if you want all that. Why is that blocking? Well, I just told you the reason why. You're becoming aware of it. So take a breath in, Mary, and all those other individuals who seem to have that same pattern. Notice the back of your neck. You might have neck issues as well, from what I'm seeing. And then let's just remove that for you. So what you'll feel is like, you've always been used to something always blocking you, right? And then what you'll feel is like this thing, it's not there anymore. So it's like you try something and you're not blocked. So you might like fall over because again, nobody's blocking you. Okay. So if that happens, that's a good thing. That's a sign that thing is not there anymore. That frequency is not there anymore for you, Mary. So congratulations on that. It's just you just needed that little twist. So whatever you've done in the past with XI has gotten you to this point where for me it's just easy. It's like, okay, you've done the work behind. Let's just remove it for you now. You don't need that programming, and now you can go forward without being blocked and be your real self. This is where you re-identify yourself as, say, a woman, and you bring back, say, your feminine qualities because you've used a man's frequency to just keep hammering where you are. Okay. This one, Ilaria Hemos would love an update for me. Thank you. So, Ilaria, for you, um, it seems like you're shedding away your. I don't know if you separated from your husband, or you live alone, or you're divorced. Whatever that is, it's a separation. So whether it's a divorce, a separation, or whatever, but the key is that you're separating your relationship patterns. So you don't have to say sacrifice or give anything to be with, say, in this case, a man. like you used to in the past, or give anything to have a career, or give anything to do whatever. So that kind of pattern. How many of you would say that anyway? I'll give anything for X. You never ever want to say that again, because there's there's presences listening to that and they go, anything? And since you said it, it's like, oh, well, just give me a piece of your soul or your spirit. And then again, that's where shit happens. You you get what you want, but again, it's a costly price. So that pattern in you, Ilaria, is disconnecting. All right. So I was just helping you. So again, confirm your deletions. Nice job. Please, this is Emmy Cronin. Emmy Cronin. Just wait. Please scan me, please. I don't know how old you are, Emmy, but there seems to be something might have happened to you, from what I'm seeing. Yeah. So, yeah, Emmy Conan, Kuonen. So something might have happened to you in your younger days. So I don't know how old you are, but no matter how old you are, oh, 22. So around 22, 23, something happened to you that just like stopped you in time. It could be like a loss of something, basically, or it could be a divorce, or it could disconnect, or an opportunity, or you got ill, or whatever. Anyway, something like that that happened to you around that time. Again, I'm not a psychic. I read algorithms. So when I see you, the algorithm is of something happening to you. Okay, so but I might not pick up exactly what happened to you unless I take the time, and we don't have the time now. But whatever happened to you around that age frame, okay. So no matter how old you get, basically you're operating from that age frame. So what happened to you, say at 22, okay, time stopped, basically time stopped, and then you put that filter of time in front of you no matter what you're doing. Okay. As you get older and older, it becomes more of a drag for you. It distorts you more and more. And then this the positive side of this is that you might look younger than what you really are. Again, that's a positive side. But again, the negative side, socially, not connected, because you're always out of time. People might not see you. People might think that you're not paying attention to them. People might think that you're not here, um, and so on and so on and so on. Again, because of that disconnect. So let's you go back to um, that moment. And do you guys remember when I was talking about appreciation? I said, I wish I was back in my 20s. But what XI does is literally it takes you back, say in this scenario, goes back in your 22, when you were 22 in this scenario, and fixes you at this 22 mark. It doesn't pull this here. Okay, it fixes what should have been fixed at the 22 mark, and then every version of yourself forward to your current age has to adapt. Right? Because these are all living versions still. It's still living in some moment in time. It didn't die off. So when you fix something, it creates a ripple effect or a domino effect. That's how it works. Psychology and anything else doesn't work that way, by the way. Okay. Again, that's real appreciation. You fix what happened here. You appreciate what happened there. You turn it into a learning experience. You can't change what happened, but you can change how it defines you. So, and then this vision or this version changes, which again, every version forward from that moment changes, and then your new version has to adapt or gets different possibilities for you. So that's where you are. I mean, again, unlocking you, because you're always thinking of the past, going in the past, wanting to be the past. You're afraid of going forward. Again, that's all because of that one moment. There's other moments before that, but again, that's we don't. Um, we just don't have time. Uh, so private sessions, that's really good. As a reminder, we've got a lot of people backed up in private sessions. So put your name in and we'll get you through. We're thinking of easier, faster ways to go through the process of helping you one-on-one. But the deal is you don't need a one-on-one session to improve. You can do it on, we're going to do group sessions. right? We're also going to do the 18 days is also fantastic. We also do, again, events and so on, online events where you can join and heal yourself. Billy's right. Hey, everyone, just remember to hit like, uh, right? So again, hit like, guys, and get more people on board so we can actually transform the world. So do that, please. That'd be awesome. And subscribe to the channel. This one, Sarah G. Would love a scan of my left side, please. So for you, Sarah, what's happening is that you're awakening through XI. Your left side, it's either one side or the other. You accommodate people. You're an accommodator. So what you do, Sarah G, is literally what happens is that when you get attracted to somebody, when you love somebody, or if it's your parents, you've left room in them. So what you do is like half of you're an apartment. Just think that you're a house, okay? And it's like, hey, let me move in. And then what happens is that you get moved over your frequency. Again, your physical form is here, okay? So yeah, your physical form is here. Okay, that's your house. And then it goes, hey, I'm in love with somebody, or hey, you're like your mom, right? She might be older from what I'm seeing, or ill. Yeah. Anyway, you care for her, right? Anybody that you care for, it's like, oh gosh, you know what? I'll take care of you. So what you do, Sarah, is like, oh yeah, come on in. You can move into me, and then your again vertical, so left side right side is very very different. So now what you've done again with XI is like you're starting to see the problems with your left side, or it could be your right, either way. So again, there's two different versions of you that's been scrunched, and this is why life is always say compressed or distorting for you or oppressive for you and so on like that. And then what you do and what most people do in this scenario, it's like, well, I'll help more people and then more people. So again, you're half and half right now. And then it's like, well, if I help more people, that means I'll be a better person because that's what they say at this, this lower level of definitions. And then what happens is that you have more people, and then eventually you get to the point where you're only living in, say, a bathroom closet, and then everybody else is living throughout your whole house or throughout your whole body. And then unfortunately you get, say, the same diseases, the same issues as the people living in your house. Okay, so what I was helping you is understand is it's a perfect time pulling away. So I do think your mom is ill, and as she thinks about death, I'm not saying she's dying, but as she thinks about death, she's looking for a place to stay. That would be you, by the way. And this is where people start to age. It's like, I don't know what happened, but when my parents died, a year or a few months later, or even before they die, it's like, gosh, I started getting the same diseases as my parents. I guess that's just hereditary. Fuck, it's not hereditary, guys. It's just that their presence snapped into you, and now you're running their presence or their programming versus yours. So you're awakened, Sarah. So now you're pushing that away and going, no, I want to be me. I can still help. You can still help your mom, or it could be your dad. But again, it's a feminine frequency. You can still help them, but you don't have to pull them into your identity. It's not good for them. It's not good for you. Okay. Um, when is the next 18 days? In December. But again, you can do the THR currently. This one's interesting. Moss, please scam me till still stuttering a bit these days, and I feel like speech takes too much brain power. Yep. So this is Amon. Okay. And again, I don't guarantee anything. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. But what happens is that it might things I might have when I'm seeing you more. So good job. You're doing a fantastic job. But you're getting to the end point. And when you get to the end point, the control mechanisms that have, say, controlled you all your life, they're breaking apart. So it's like when I see you, it's like a rubber band. That rubber band is stretching and it's stretching and it's stretching. So for you, Amar, it's to a point where it can't stretch anymore. And that's why you're feeling some of the old patterns show up for you, some of the like the tension upon you. It's like, "Shit, I better go back. the guilt patterns that you have, showing the old tendencies of you going, oh shit, I'll go back to my old self. But you can't. Again, it's this yo-yo effect. You go to a certain point, it gets it's too hard, and then back. This time, I'm urging you just to keep stretching. The next step forward. And so, what I'm helping you with, I'm just giving you that hand just to pull you, and then that rubber band snaps. Okay. And as that rubber band snaps, the tendency for you to stutter, the tendency you stutter because again, when you're in front of people, you back away. Like you create three versions of yourself. It's kind of weird how stuttering works. So you're here, but you're shy or whatever. You tend to go back, either time wise or reality wise. It's like, what version does this person want me to? You can't pick on a version. So you'll create three or four versions of yourself in front of that person, no matter who that person is. Okay. And then you operate from three or four versions. So when you're operating from three or four versions of yourself, you would start to stutter because you're basically rendering three or four versions. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense, right? So you're saying things like three or four times. Okay, hence stuttering. So anyway, what you want to do is stay solid. This is where, again, for those individuals, say, who stutter, and I know that's a totally different version on why people stutter, but people have found out that if you hold on to something, or if you're playing with something like a widget or something, for you, Amon, hold on to something like a widget, play something, a widget, whatever it is, and change that every few days so you don't get comfortable with it. It'll keep you in time. It'll lock you in time. You can't go into other realities, and then your speech will get a lot better. But it'll lock you here, and you won't go backwards, and then that rubber band snaps, and then you're good. Okay. So again, that's an interesting concept on stuttering, by the way, and it works. Moss, can you help me to move forward? This is Maria M. Yes. So what you're done, or what you've done with XI, and again, congratulations, Maria, is that you've moved away from your old self. You've done is like, and this is how some people do it, which is totally cool. Basically, what you've done is like, you've pulled, you didn't let go, or you didn't. It's like having two apartments for you, right? Your old house, your new house. Okay. It's like, well, I don't know how this new house or this new version of myself is going to work out. So I'll keep both versions. Okay, Maria. So what you've done is like, you've moved over that everything over to your new place that you needed. You're comfortable. You're solid with yourself. It's like, yeah, I really like this version. And now you're asking me basically, it's like, hey, Moss, can you separate me? I don't need this old version anymore. Okay, so again, you're running two versions, a better version here. You've tried it out and you like it. If that makes sense for you. So take a breath in, Maria, and whoever else is at this level as well. There we go. So let's help you disconnect from this old version. And then basically you'll just operate and you'll see yourself from a very different perspective. From give it a couple hours, but you'll see that, hey, I don't have to flop back and forth. Because again, you're not paying, say, taxes, or you don't have to worry about this old house of yours. It's gone. You sold it off. So you'll even now, and again, comment back, Miriam. You feel like a sense of like release. It's gone. So your burdens and so on. So now what'll happen is that you get to reclaim yourself. Um, Youthfulness starts to come in. Your back problems that you might have. It seems like you're always leaning forward. Again, those body structures and all that, you get to regain who you are. Okay. So the energy that you spent taking care of the two houses now is going to be spent on improving who you are. This is what me worry. Moss, can you help me with my serious health issues, and how do I get out of this hell? I live after working with you for a bit. Yes. So with you, again, what happens is that sometimes your situations might get worse working with XI. Not that they get worse. It's just that imagine And this is what happens to a lot of you. How many of you here, you do XI and then you get irritated with your friends or your family and so on more, right? It's just because you were that level, you were that frequency, okay? And then you elevated yourself. And so you get irritated more with them. And that's the reason why. So you stay at that level, you don't go back down because it's detrimental for them and for you. So what you've done, what me worries, basically you're holding on to your old version of yourself down here and you're still doing XI and you're elevating higher and higher and higher. So now you're running both versions, kind of like Sarah. Okay. But again, it gets worse and worse for you, your conditions, your issues, and so on like that, because you still, for some reason, are wanting something from here. You think it's beneficial to hold on, and it's a fear. Oh, wow. That's what it is. It's a fear of you being chastised by being good. Yeah. So take a breath in, hun. Does that make sense? So this is where that disconnect happens. If you hold on to your old self as you keep doing XI, you'll elevate. It doesn't matter. You'll keep elevating. You get a better version of yourself. But again, if you keep holding on to yourself, and then there's a moment that it gets too rough for people because you can't hold on to both identities because it's so separate. So again, there's got to be a breaking point. Something has to break. Your new self, or you go back to your old self. So which one do you want? Okay. So again, you gotta let go. Okay. And it seems like when you were very young, whenever you did something good, you got, say, beat up for it or you got chastised for it or something. You weren't appreciated. Right. So now it's like if I become a better version of myself, am I gonna like destroy myself or am I gonna get beat up? So that pattern of you is so ingrained again out of fear that it's like you just kind of wait, kind of like a kid who's sick and looks at other kids playing outside, but they're looking behind, right? Because if they go outside, they're going to get beat up. That kind of pattern. So again, let go of that. Okay, I can help you maybe in a private session, and even now, just going back or giving you strength to go, hey, what really did happen back there? Okay, you might have blanks in your memory. There's a reason why you have blanks. It's a little too hard to remember, or you want to remember again. So cleaning that stuff up for you. Okay, and then you snap into that higher version of yourself. By the way, okay, and this is where you get real healing that happens. This one is Fatima Palm. Can you please scan me? Yeah. Take a breath in. It seems like whatever you're eating is not beneficial for you. I don't know if you have like heartburn or heart issues. I don't know if it's you or maybe a parent of yours died that way with something happening here, or somebody has cancer, whatever. Whatever it is, again, I just see that something's irritating you here, or somebody in your family um, died from that pattern and you're holding on to it. So let's release that. But what happens to you is that there's always, say, some kind of heartache. There's always some kind of something holding you back. There's always some kind of pain. No matter how good it is for you, again, you feel that pain. Okay. So, so again, helping you release or disconnect from that pattern. All right, one more and then we'll call it a day. This one, Zoltan. I am new. Please, could you scan me? What is happening? Why can't I take the next step in business? Okay. So Zoltan, again, welcome to the XI family. What's happening for you, Zoltan, is that if you become successful, you'll destroy yourself. Simple as that. Uh, so it's the fear of success. So what that means, and I would suggest doing, private sessions or longer like business sessions. If you really want to improve on business, you can contact customers at Sajady for like the business type sessions and so on that we do. We don't advertise that on the site. So for you, uh, Zoltan, just think of it this way. Take a breath in. Notice your throat area. So, so you have, say, addictive type qualities for you, okay? And that addiction is actually a positive. Okay, now you might not be addicted to drugs or alcohol, or you could be, but again, you have that addictive personality that you. So basically, what that addictive personality is in that you latch onto time. Okay, that's why it's so addictive. You latch onto something that keeps you in the moment of time, but if you let go of that, you just float away, and then you lose your identity. So as a safety mechanism, success for you, okay, and one, two, three, you've tried success 3 times, and you've gotten to the point, yeah, one, two, three times, and again, comment in, Sultan. So 3 times, and you've gotten to the point that you could have just like been free, gotten successful, you know, and so on, and then it just evaporated for you. And again, the reason why is like it literally is a safety mechanism for you. Because if you did get success and if you claim that success, it would magnify what I just talked about, you not staying in space and time. This is where tendencies of getting unstable happens. You know, you go mentally crazy. You get more and more addictive to things. You get more and more controlling. This is where people become really successful. They can't control the reality that they're in because again, success is a magnifier. And then what happens? Well, you start becoming destructive. You start abusing yourself. You start abusing your kids or you know your loved ones and so on like that. So that's the kind of pattern. So you see this a lot in football players. Okay, they're very young. They don't know how to say hold on to space and time. Again, it's about dimension. It's not about psychology or having a stable family or anything like that. It literally is that those young kids don't know how to stabilize themselves in space and time. They don't know how to stay present automatically. There's an autonomic nervous system. Take a breath in, Zoltan, and then anybody else. There's an autonomic nervous system that tells you to breathe in, breathe out, all the all the things that happen to you automatically that you don't think about. There's a higher autonomic nervous system that basically tells you you are here, you are here. Without that, again, you literally disconnect. And this is where suicide happens, depression, and so on like that. That system doesn't work out well for you. Okay? So you always are floating away. So you're always addicted, or you're always latching on to something to stay present. Just your life is basically like this. There's a raging river of time washes you away. You'll hold on to an anchor to stay present. If you let go of that anchor, boom, then what you do is like, I'll go to the next anchor. I'll swim a little forward. And again, so you stay present in time. Again, that should be automatic for you. When you get success, okay, say you get success, that burden of success, because it is a burden for you, magnifies, it makes you heavier. So now you have to hold on harder to time and space. Most young athletes, again, that success becomes a burdensome for you, right? So you're very similar to those, again, young athletes who become very successful. And again, aside from the impact of their heads in football and so on, doesn't matter. Aside from that, what happens is that over time, they become super successful. It magnifies the distortions that they are. And then they start beating up their wives, you know, and it's again, it's a downhill, safe cycle. So if you have, by the way, if you have any athletes, professional athletes and so on, I help those individuals figure out how to do that so they can stay stable. So again, that's the same pattern for you. Yep. So Zoltan's going, yep, that's what it is. Yep, exactly. So I would suggest doing a private session, Zoltan, where I can like lock you into time. Right? And then this is where you expand into your success. So again, think of it as being lucky, because if you did become successful in the way you are, it would be a very destructive scenario for you. And this is where a lot of successful individuals, they destroy, their lives get destroyed when they become successful. All right. So with that, guys, I really appreciate you. Okay. I really appreciate you. And I wonder what bigger and better things are available for you in the future. Okay. So again, notice what you notice and then notice the detail. Right. Peace.